to introduce these two players to it.
Yeah, man. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map as our blue Protoss player. Currently down 0-1, it is ZaIN. And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have our red Zerg player winning game number 1. It is LoLvsXD.
Now, ZVP is one of my favorite matchups. I really like this. I like ZVP and ZVT, I think, are actually my favorites.
They're both very good. Zerg matches, when they're not mirrors, are lots of fun. Creep spread, you have multiple counterattacks. There's always a lot of action.
Free units. Endless free units.
The non-Zerg wants to prevent the Zerg from building drones at all times, and the Zerg just wants to kill everything. So it's just.
I think it also it knocks into the whole kind of movie scene of the aliens, the alien bugs up against the humanoid creatures. It just kind of sits quite nicely. It warms my heart, on the fundamental level. But anyway, we'll wait to see what LoL is going to be doing. He's getting down, pull into hatch, very normal. ZaIN going for a gateway expand just means that LoL doesn't have to worry about taking a super quick third. He needs to take a gas, get speed down, and then just be like, yo, I'll take a third once you expand.
Yeah, man, it's the safest play right now. I really like going gateway expand right now, personally. The Mothership Core gives you such a wide variety of things you can do in the early game. You get up to your tech quicker with this kind of opener. Only opting for one gas right now. We'll have to see when he wants to take that Nexus. No third base just yet from LoL. He should be getting that. If he plays, the standard fast 3 hatch, he'll be going for it around in about a minute or two. But he's actually going for a quick gas here instead, which it's fine on this map. You get an early quick speedling, and you can try and deny that Nexus, which is being thrown down right now.
Yeah, you have to go for this early gas against the gateway expand, because if you do go for the quick third, they'll just punish it with even something as simple as, say, 2 Zealots and a Mothership Core can really put a damper on your days. So I like this from LoL, just playing it nice and safe. He needs to take his third in about 2 minutes, give or take a bit, and that is it, as you said, unless he just tries to go and deny the Nexus, which you can actually get away with doing. The big thing those Zerglings coming in at the moment need to identify is what comes down as part of the wall off. Is this going to be the additional 3 gateways into some delayed 4-gate pressure, or is it going to be 2-gate plus tech?
We'll just have to see. There's so much possibility in this matchup right now. You can't go into a game, no matter who the players are, and say this Protoss player is going to end up on this build and this Zerg player is going to end up on this build, because this matchup on both sides, which is the coolest part, is on both sides that there's just so much you can do. That there's no right or wrong answer. You can make any timing work. You can make any style work. And we're going to be seeing a really quick 4-gate here from ZaIN. He's not researching Warp Gate though, which is a problem.
That is a quite major problem, actually. I think
that is a huge problem.
There you go. There we go. That's okay. I was like, it's going for a 4-gate without warp tech. That's a unique one. It's an unusual build, and there are lots of options, as you said, but that probably isn't one that you want to try and employ. Now, we do see here, LoL is busy getting down his Roach Warren, so ZaIN is going to be pushing him, but LoL is going to be in a nice spot to defend this. He's seen with the Overlord that it's the 3 gates at the front, knows there was a gateway expand, so 4-gate, he's just going to get out some Zerglings and Roaches, to be honest. His third, he may try and take it, he may just wait to see what pressure comes first, and try and hold that off, and in a lot of ways I'm actually more in favour of trying to hold off the pressure first, because you can actually counter this really quite nicely if you do crush the push hard.
Well, I mean, right now the push would be hitting, which is the sad thing if he hadn't forgotten that Warp Gate. The Warp Gates would be done. He'd be moving on with 5-6 Zealots, and the Roaches would pop out just in time to deal with it. Right now, our Zerg player has plenty of time to hold off this push now. And as you can tell, ZaIN has changed up his build completely. As soon as he realized he forgot Warp Gate, he threw down a second gas. He does get this third base down. Expanding aggressively here. Yeah. I like this a lot. And by aggressively, I mean he's expanding toward his opponent.
I think that's the big thing. When you do expand towards your opponent, it's a big risk, especially against this sort of build. But it also makes a lot of sense because this is a likely location for a pylon. So getting down there gives you a lot of information. But ooh, ZaIN is taking a third super fast. That is exciting times. This probe is going to get taken down, but this is an interesting play by ZaIN because he really hasn't warped in very much, admittedly, because he doesn't have warp tech yet. But this 4-gate was a bit of a fake out, and it's going to be a really quick third. The Hallucinated Colossus is not fooling anyone, though.
You say the 4-gate was a bit of a fake out. It kind of worked out that way on accident. ZaIN was obviously wanting to do the 4K. He's just like, well, what do you do now? Photon Overcharge does go down the Nexus. 4 Roaches get in here. Some sentries being warped in. Roaches gonna try and make their way into the main base, maybe force a force field. They do go down, but some more Roaches get into that natural base, killing off some probes. One Roach is gonna scout the main base and see exactly what's going on. Does not know that that third base is up. How many probes were killed? 6 were killed, putting the income tab 38 to 35 in favor of a Zerg player. Still doesn't know about that third base, but he has to have an idea of something's going on. He scouted the main base, scouted the natural. All he saw was 4 gates. I mean, he has to realize something weird's going on.
The one thing I would be getting paranoid now about is the fact that I've seen 4 gas up and no tech. I'd be really concerned about something getting proxied at this point. Especially something like, say, a proxy Dark Shrine. That could really throw you off right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see LoL just take some very cautious steps now, just to make sure that he's defended against all the options, unless he scouts that third.
Well, you do have a sentry push coming here from ZaIN. 1 sentry immediately goes down. Does get the force fields finally. Queen attacking down this Mothership Core. It needs to recall home soon if it keeps taking this much damage, if he's not target fired on that Queen. Moving forward here, there's no forward, actually there's a forward pylon here on the right hand side. It has not been seen by our Zerg player, just barely out of vision, and ZaIN just going to back off for the moment. Take a look at that income tabs, 47 to 51 in favor of ZaIN. I mean, ZaIN has just been building probes constantly out of a 3 Nexus, so he should have that lead, especially with Chrono Boost. If this goes scouted by LoL, he's going to be way, way behind.
Yeah, that's a big thing. He needs to make sure, actually, that he doesn't really just forget this, because even though he's ahead in tech, if he gets a big Hydra Roach push out, it would be nice. But that tech advantage is going to quickly go the other way. The Roaches are positioned outside the natural again. Ah, there we go. He's going to go and scout it. That is essential right now that this scout goes off, sees the third base, and now LoL knows exactly what's up. ZaIN has got to be really cautious, because to be honest, LoL, with that Hydra Dem finishing, he could just decide to flood with Roach Hydra. And against this sort of very greedy third place, when the robotics facility isn't even finished yet, it would be crazy effective.
Yeah, but it's a good read from ZaIN. He did scout the Hydrogen with his hallucinated Phoenix, so he's preparing to get Colossus out as fast as possible. Group Spines are on the way, as well as the Twilight Council, so we can get those additional upgrades. Only upgrading out of 1 Forge right now, going to go to that +2 attack as soon as he can. Getting a 4th base as well on the LoLvsXD side. This is... I mean, he's behind. He does have these Roaches coming into this natural base, but there's a Photon Overcharge, some good force fields, and the cannons picking up a lot of these Roaches, but... because this third base went unscouted, I mean, kind of a mistake for ZaIN turned into a good, a really strong mid game, because third base was never scouted for so long.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Yes, the Hydras are coming out before the Colossi are going to be on the way, and actually, the Robotics Bay hasn't got started, Zoya. So there aren't going to be any Colossi on the field. This is super dangerous. Ah, Blink even coming down here, so it's not even a quick tech up into High Templar. Roach Hydra can annihilate this force.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best ways to hold off the Sentry Immortal all-in is with Roach Hydra, and that's what ZaIN, that's what ZaIN's pretty much building right now, is Sentry Immortal and with Blink Stalkers mixed in. They're gonna have +2, and if you said, like you said, if he hits with a Roach Hydra link timing, what can LoL do to hold this third base?
And we already have actually a small little timing coming in here. LoL is putting in ZaIN is going to struggle to hold the third. That's going to be a problem for him. The Robo Bait is on its way down, but at the moment it's just nothing there. LoL needs to move in with these Roach Hydra Link forces, because all while he's delaying, he's just giving ZaIN more chance to get out the stuff he needs to defend it.
Gonna go straight into that natural base. A lot of sentries trying to come down. He wants to bait the army out, and he doesn't want to fight under a Nexus because of the Photon Overcharge, but he's splitting up his army nice here. Some force fields do go down. No planetary Nexus just yet. A lot of units out here for LoL.
He can focus this Nexus.
Yeah,
he needs to focus the Nexus. He can even lose these units now. He just behind this needs to pump out more Roaches and more Hydras, to be honest. That's the critical thing. He's got to make sure that he's got something. There we go, 14 Hydras coming out. He can just, like, cost-effectively use these units. Needs to try and focus down the sentries, ideally, and gets a couple of them, but knocking out that third's big. ZaIN really doesn't have much choice now, other than going to counterattack, knowing that the army's gone. But with Spine Crawlers coming down, with the Roaches now in production, LoL should be able to hold as long as ZaIN doesn't get that critical mass up. The Hydras do need to buy a lot of time, though, for the Roaches.
Scary thing is ZaIN is pushing without his Mothership Core. He doesn't have that option to time warp or recall back home. Hopefully he realizes that and brings his... And there he goes. He is sending it across the map now. But like you said, there are Spine Crawlers here, there are Roaches, Hydras, and Lings on their way. I mean, ZaIN, I don't think this push is going to work. He's going to poke up here. He sees the 2 Spine Crawlers building in. There are 3 Immortals. Immortals can plow through Spine Crawlers really quickly. Blinkstalker's blinking back. Spine Crawlers do finish, though. I mean, I don't think ZaIN can do anything. He has restarted that Nexus. It's 3/4 of the way done, but take a look at income tab. It's 72 to 67 in favor of our Protoss player. I mean, he lost that Nexus. Yes, he didn't lose too many probes, though, so the one thing I'm worried about for ZaIN is his tech. He's really lacking in tech.
Yeah, ZaIN is just coming down, trying to get in a position where he can take out the 4th. He has his first Colossus about to pop out, but the road to Hydra Force is so big. With the Zerglings here, could get a nice round. The mass recall is always going to be an option, but of course, with that Mothership Core so low, frankly, the Hydras can focus that down in a few seconds. Oh, big push into the 4th base here by ZaIN, and actually, a good number of Zealots going to try and take this out. The Hydras are being forced to pull back to defend this, should stay up, but this is something that actually LoL has to be careful of because it's allowing ZaIN to come in the top, but luckily he didn't pull his entire army. Smart play there by LoL, meaning he's got a force to defend with.
Colossus are in production as well as that +3 attack for our Protoss player, morphing in more Zealots to do another run by at that 4th base. Losing the 4th base would be terrible because he would lose some of his production, but he's not too saturated there just yet. But huge surround here. Mothership Core gets immediately sniped by the flanking Hydras. No recall for this army. Losing that Mothership Core is really bad for ZaIN. He's picking up a lot of Roaches and Hydras here, but he's losing so much gas here. Might be able to save his Blink Stalkers, tries to blink them out. The Observer needs to be closer to that high ground so he can do so. Loses all of his Immortals, loses almost all of his Stalkers and all of his Sentries. The 4th base will fall to this Zealot run by, but ZaIN lost a lot more in that engagement.
Yeah, the 4th goes down there, as you said, for LoL, but I think the trouble for ZaIN is now his army is so inferior to that of his opponents. There are those 2 Colossi out, which actually means that LoL needs to pump a lot more Roaches. That's the big problem he's got at the moment, is he's committing a lot to the Hydralisks, but doesn't have anything to really snipe off those Colossi before the Hydras all go down. So, something to be cautious of. I'd also love to see an Infestation Pit on the way for LoL, because he needs to take up to... There we go. That's all good. He can now get Vipers out, so... That's all I was going to say, was get some Vipers, and he's in a good spot.
Yeah, but he's a good ways from that. Like you said, you just put it down. You have to get up to Hive. Got the Vipers. We do have the engagement going down. Some force fields do go down. That's almost all of the Sentry energy, though. There's not going to be enough for Guardian Shield, and that's all the force fields. Has to fall back into his natural base, which is going to leave this 3rd and 4th exposed. What is the game plan here for LoL? No aggressive warpings just yet from ZaIN. He does still have that pylon out on the map, but it is in the attack move path of these Roaches and Hydras, so the pylon will be picked off. But like the thing that I really dislike about LoL's play is he's just been playing the bare minimum economy-wise. He's been on 3 bases. He's not, he only has 65 drones. He hasn't been aggressively taking additional bases. Where our Protoss player, he's up to 4 bases, and if the game isn't ended soon, especially with the Corruptors being added in, if LoL's next push doesn't end the game, ZaIN's economy is going to be way too strong, and he's going to be able to power down LoL.
Yeah, well, ZaIN already resupplying exceptionally quickly just due to the fact that he's up at 83 probes. With that 4th base up, he's in a good spot. The Hive is coming down, but look at this. Storm getting researched as well. Against this composition, a good number of Colossi and Storms will wreck it. And this is a concern for LoL. He's got to be so careful now, Zoya.
He has to. This is going to be tough for him. If he hits before Storm, that's his best chance, which it looks like he's going to, but even then, this army is so powerful from ZaIN. The one thing it doesn't have is enough Mothership Core energy. It's got enough for 1 time orb, and that's it. Here comes the Lynx, Roaches, and Hydras coming forward here. Some force fields do go down. Not the best engagement here from LoL. Like, all of his army is just trapped up here. Corruptors targeting down the Colossus as well as they can. Why is LoL just kind of just moving here? He didn't try splitting up his Roaches to come from multiple angles. He lost a lot of supply there, and now he's down in supply, and because he's been so behind economy-wise, there's no way he can catch up.
Yeah, this is actually... It was all to pick off the Colossi, to be honest, and it's a bit of a risk because, yes, the Hydras and Roaches are coming out, but the Storm is nearly done. There's a good number of there were a good number of high tempo on the field. Hopefully some more are going to get warped in, and the economy for ZaIN is still thriving, so he's going to be able to get out a good number of high tempo. The Corruptors are getting taken down. The Colossi count is going to start raising up again. This isn't the greatest spot for LoL at the moment.
2 Zealots warping in on the proxy pile on the bottom side of the map. They're going to go harass that 4th base again. There are no Spine Crawlers here. There is the only 1 Queen here. And again, the saturation not so good for our Zerg player. He does hold on for now, but income tab, guys, 63 to 83 in favor of Protoss players. 4 bases to 4 bases. You know, all Zerg players know you never want to be on equal bases and behind on tech. If we take a look at the upgrades for the Roaches and Hydras, they are 2-1 with Corruptors having 0-0. The Protoss army has 3-1, an upgrade advantage for him. Colossus and Storm out. I mean, no Vipers here, no Swarm hosts. LoL's in a lot of trouble.
He has got to have an amazing engagement. He can't just A-move into this army anymore. Especially if he goes into a tight choke, the Storms are going to annihilate the Hydralisks. And that's really the concern I've got right now as ZaIN starts to move forward. Lala has got to get a good attack arc. That is really the only opportunity for him. He doesn't actually, as far as I'm aware, no, he has no idea currently that the 4th is down, so he thinks it's a 3-base Protoss, but here we go, the engagement is coming down, and there's that tight choke I was talking about. No spreading of the units, the Hydra's taking a lot of damage, the Colossi are down though. Is LoL going to have enough to just punch straight through this?
There are so many Blink Stalkers here with that +3 attack here. Roach coming from the bottom side, Archon's being morphed in as well. ZaIN just going to have a little too much here. Going to be able to muscle down this army. At the same time, 4th base is under attack. Drones being killed, Queen being killed. Hatchery going to fall for sure. And with that, 90 supply to 160. GG drop from ZaIN, or from LoL. ZaIN going to take game number 2.